Uh, Question 9. What do you believe the Constitution says about lame duck presidents nominating Supreme Court justices? The Constitution doesn't specify lame duck presidents. The Constitution specifies that the President of the United States is to nominate Supreme Court justices when an opening comes open. Now, I know you're referring this to President Obama's nomination when Justice Scalia passed away last year. The rules gives the president the authority to nominate someone for the Supreme Court at such time an opening happens, whether through retirement or death of a current justice. Now, it also tells the Senate that it's their job to confirm that nomination before that person can take the job. Was it right that the Senate postponed the nomination hearings of President Obama's nomination prior to the next election? Yeah, it was. The Democrats done the same thing a couple times in the past. It's been done both parties. So there wasn't anything, no partiality in that. No partisanship in as the Republicans were doing it out of spite just because they wanted to, because it was President Obama. The Democrats have done the same thing. As a matter of fact, Harry Reid was the one who specifically, I believe it was back in the 80s or 90s, who made a comment, it might have even been in the early 2000s, who made the comment that the Senate would not take up the case of the nomination of a Supreme Court justice during the last year of a presidential administration. It was their own rules. So there was nothing, it wasn't the Republicans were doing it out of spite. The Democrats had done it the same way. I have no issue in the fact that they waited until after the election to determine whether or not they were going to take up debate on the new nomination. But the Constitution itself gives the sole authority for nominations to the president at any time during his administration, and it gives the sole confirmation to the Senate. It does not specify in the Constitution when the Senate is to hold hearings to confirm any nomination of the president. That is Senate rules and is subject to be changed as the Senate so desires. That's just one of the things it is. Is it popular? Does it make people happy? No. Not necessarily. In some cases it has in the past. This particular case, it made the Democrats unhappy. But in a lot of cases, just like that, the Democrats have done the same thing themselves. So, I guess you could say what's fair for the goose is fair for the gander. But yeah, that's the way it is. The Constitution gives the president the authority anytime, even on the last day of his administration, he can make a nomination. The Senate has to confirm that, but there's no set rules in the Constitution that the Senate must take up the confirmation hearings of a nominee for anything at the same time the president makes the nomination.